Good morning everyone, week 3 and I'm back. Last week of demolition. First mission is to get these floors taken up, packed away as quickly as possible. Then I can get everything sorted, packed away, and I can actually start construction, which I really want to do this week. Ideally, if I can get the foundations done, that's a really good start and we'll make progress easier next week. The carpenter gods have smiled on us so it looks like the weather's going to be good. Now I've said that, it will probably be bad, but that's the way it is working in Norway. First video went live yesterday. It seems like a few people have watched, so thank you very much to everyone who's watching this journey. Mainly friends, but please share it, guys. It will help with getting the numbers up, and hopefully we'll get people interested in helping us with this project. And there's another project on the horizon, so let's keep our fingers crossed that it will work. But for now, let's get on with that floor. Okay, I'm all for energy efficiency and little waste as possible on the building side. That's a great idea, but these guys took it to the extreme. This is every little piece of waste insulation got shoved in the floor, which is great, but it's not that well sealed. So it's not looking great and it's not going to be fun to take away. You can just see just how much was living in here. It's just tunnels everywhere from the mice, even a few dead ones unfortunately. But now I've got to get it out, so I'm definitely masking up for this. It is not looking pleasant. And again, one of the reasons why we have to take this part of the building down. It's just so bad. And as I've said before, I hate old insulation. It's not pleasant. Wish me luck. Something big was coming in through that little hole there. Picking up halfway through. Quite a few dead mice in this section. Look at all the tunnels everywhere. Truly disgusting. But we fix it. Well, that's that day wrapped up. It's been a good day. I got where I needed to get, but I really noticed the clock change. It's so much darker today. I lost the light very, very early, so that's going to definitely be something we need to sort out, is get a lot of lights up here. I don't like running the generator all the time. It's so noisy, and it's supposed to be kind of relaxing to be here even though I'm working and I'm just making too much noise. So we'll try and get some battery lights sorted, keep the site lit up nicely. But I made everything I wanted to achieve today. We've got all the floors up. I've left the foundations in place so we can take all our measurements correctly. And I'm going to progress on a little bit more later. You can have a look here. So here we are. I got the old deck taken up. That was literally just bits of timber sat on the rock, so we need to get some decent foundations for that too. What I've found out since taking things apart is that it seems like this section of the building was annex or some sort of guest house, and they had an original section here, which was the kitchen. And then the bit in between has been added later. It was a connection. So I think the toilet before used to sit in where the kitchen was, and there was a different setup here. But I made one unfortunate discovery, and that is that it seems like the house has had some serious foundation issues over the time. This building has been jacked up so many times. I'll set up the laser quickly so we can get a good idea of just how much it's moved. So as you can see there, I've got the laser line set up to hit pretty much on that cross point there of the joist, minus a couple of mil. They've jacked the building there in the center. I've got an old foundation there that's failed, and it's relatively good. And then in the center, between this span, because a double 2x4 is not enough to support a building, we've got a sink of about 18 to 20 millimeters. And again, that corner they've jacked, but it's compressed on a bunch of wedges there, which is nowhere near good enough. So we're going to definitely have to do some foundation work here, at least on this corner in the beginning. The rest of the building is not exactly easy to access, but hopefully we can figure this out. It's not an overly difficult job, especially as we've got good solid rock everywhere here. So that is going to have to be added to the list, and that will have to be done before I do these floors. So it could be that we have to delay the material delivery by a week just so I can get this done. But we'll get a clear head, get some rest now, and check in the morning with a fresh pair of eyes, see if I can find a better solution. But for now, I think I am going to call it a night. I've got a little bit of work to do inside. I don't have a kitchen anymore, and I'm hungry, so I'm going to have to build a little temporary setup. I didn't bring any barbecue food with me, which would have been an easier solution, but I didn't think ahead. So, lesson learned for next week, but I'll make a little temporary kitchen inside, get a bit of rest, and ready to start tomorrow morning with a really big pile of rubbish that can't be seen right now, but it's not going to be a fun day tomorrow. Until then, see you in the morning. Good morning, second day, week 3. Got most of the demolition done yesterday, so I was very happy with the progress. So today I've got to get everything sorted, bagged up, and hopefully that's the last time I say that for a while. Made the unfortunate discovery of the foundations have sunk on the building, so there's going to be a bit of extra work there for me to do. Most likely going to have to do that next week. It's a chilly start to the day, 0 degrees. I'm in the clouds right now, but the blue sky is working its way out. So hopefully we're going to have a lovely day. It's nicer to do this sort of work when it's nice. So let's get on with the day and make some good progress. sky at night, shepherd's delight. What a day it has been. Everything nicely bagged up. Timber managed to stack it a lot tighter, so I didn't have to end up having so many packs of the old wood, which is really good for me. Less flights. Hopefully they stay stable until next week. Got a nice little fire going to keep me warm. It was freezing earlier this morning, so I lit a little campfire with the old firewood we had left. That's all I've got left to stack up. I'm going to move the light bags of insulation now. Take them down to the lower section here, just so everything's close and it frees up this area here for materials. But nice to get everything clean, feels good. I've saved the worst job till last. I'm going to try and drag that toilet back because I'm a little ahead of schedule, which is nice, which means I can actually start doing foundations next week, actually tomorrow, which is great. It means we get a little bit further ahead, so I'm going to try and drill in the foundations here and jack the building, get that secure and get a new beam underneath just to make sure it's extra strong. And then maybe if I'm lucky I can set a few more foundations in this area. So just before it gets dark, I'll give you a little look around. I've got to stack the windows, strap them together. That's a bag of insulation, so that'll get moved down. There's been a lot of phone calls today with suppliers. You can see right now I'm stood where the bedroom will be. So that is going to be the view from the bedroom, which is really nice. We're hoping to have like a nice little outdoor kitchen here, so we can people can cook in the shelter and not be in the wind if it gets windy. Obviously the main wind comes from where the lake is. The cold winter winds miss us completely, straight over the top. I think tonight I'm gonna sit outside with a nice cold can of Guinness and sit by the fire for the evening. That has been a good day. You can tell where I'm stood now was where that huge pile of wood was. It has taken 12 hours to get it all done, but everything's clean. A clean site is an efficient site. So good so far. I'm going to keep going for another couple of hours, get the lights out in a minute and keep cleaning and move that awful toilet back a little bit. But it's been a good day. I've liked today. It was a bit of a rough start. Got a phone call from my wife. There was a huge water leak in the bathroom at home, so had to guide her on the telephone. But we got it done. So Kristen was a bit stressed this morning, but now we're good. So I've had a nice day in the sun all day, no wind. It's been lovely. I wish it could be like this the whole time, but I promise it's not going to be. Well guys, let's carry on. Good morning. Day 3, week 3. After yesterday, which I can say is probably one of the best days I've had at work in a long time. Beautiful sunshine, radio on, listening to Global Player and just having a really nice time. The evening was stunning. I took a bunch of pictures and some slow videos, so hopefully that will come out. I can put that up as well. It was just so nice. Sat around the campfire, nice beer at the end of the day. It was a really, really good day. And to top it off, I got everything done. All the cleaning's done, it's ready to go, which means today I can actually start construction. So I'm really happy about that. It means I have to start by carrying a bunch of heavy tools up here, which is never the funnest part, but it's a necessity until the helicopter comes and can bring all the stuff up for me. So today, we're going to set the foundations. We're building on pillars for this place because we have solid rock everywhere, which is ideal. So I don't want to be messing around with concrete. So we're going to set these shoes. We drill a hole into the mountainside. We actually drill straight in, and we set a 2-component epoxy, which sets the shoe in nice and quick. So it's a bit of messing around with heights. I've got to cut some lengths and things for keeping things straight, but it's a good thing. I can start building again, so I'm very happy about that. So it's time to get on with the day, but first I got to carry. So I'm done with all the carrying, so now it's time to get on with the construction. First job, setting the foundations. Last night I set up the lasers and I figured out all of the heights, so I have some control marks over on the wall there, which is where I'm going to take all of my measurements for. Right now we're going to have a double 2x8 beam underneath the joists. That's to do all the supporting, so it will be standing on a double 2x4 leg with an additional one on the side just to support it and stop the twist forces, and some diagonals put in just to stabilize everything. We don't need to dig foundations in Norway because it's all granite. Everything's solid rock here. So what we use is these. It's a very simple shoe. It's we drill this into the rock and we use a 2-component epoxy to secure them in place just for speed. You can use a rapid cement. There's a lot of messing around with blending, but it is cheaper. So if you want to use that product, you can. But for me, I prefer this system. It's just from SV in Norway, or we call it SV. It's an anchor mass, so it's a 2-component chemical cement. It sets pretty quickly. It's pretty solid within 25 minutes. When the temperature gets below kind of 0 degrees, it takes a long time to set, so then we use a different product. Still the same concept, but it's designed for negative degrees, and it dries really quickly in temperatures down to like minus 25 degrees, which unfortunately we do have to work in. So I'm going to set up the drill the holes. Most of them, I don't need to control heights too much. I need them to be in a straight line, obviously, and I need them to line up with the outside walls for the load bearing to be delivered correctly. The center ones can kind of be where they need to be. I can follow the terrain. But there are some areas in the rock here, for example, over in this area, where the rock is sloping uphill. So I can't get a leg to support it underneath. So what I'm going to do is I will set the shoe at the closest point to the underside of this beam. So we get it down to the rock, and then I will have to shape the beam to the rock. But fortunately for us, it seems like most of the area is pretty simple to do. So that's going to be the first job. Let's get on with some work. So I've got the laser set on the wall right now, and I've got some marks here which I use for the control lines with the laser. So right now I've got it set at 6 centimeters in from the stud work on that section, and the same on here. So I know I'm using a double 2x8 on the outer wall. So that's just going to give me a centimeter of play so I can work on. I just set up the laser, but the way the light is today, even though it's a green laser, I'm not seeing very well, so I get the green glasses on. It just helps me see a little bit clearer. Still not the best. It is always tricky to see in this kind of light, but I get a mark right here. So I'm going to set a shoe here. There's already a concrete foundation here, but I will set it all the way into the rock. I'm also, because we're going to have a staircase in this section, a small staircase coming up into the bedrooms, I'm going to actually run that beam a little bit further in and probably put a secondary shoe there. But here, the space between the legs can be around 2 meters max. Just to be safe, I'm going to go about every 1.5 meters. So there will be 4 sets of shoes along here. It will also be tied into the building there to make it really strong. So, time to make some noise. We're approaching the end of day 3. Beautiful sunset. The weather's been great again, so it's been a pleasure to work. I'm really happy we made great progress today. I managed to reset the majority of the foundations. You can probably see in the other videos that they just fell over, the original one, so it's no wonder this building had twisted and moved. There was nothing tying it into the rock. So now we've done it right. Now everything is set properly. It's nice and strong, and it means that I'm a little bit ahead of schedule. So when I come back up next week, I'm gonna fix the foundations underneath the old cabin, as well as set all the new beams ready to hold the joists. I just booked the helicopter, so that's booked for not next week, but the following Monday. That gives me a little bit more time to get things organized, because I was pushing it a little bit. So I'm very happy with it so far. It's looking good. So I'm gonna keep working for a while until it gets dark, but let's have a look around quickly. So now you can see foundations are set. That one's potentially going to be a problem, the one in the corner there, because the water keeps flowing in. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to fix the drainage underneath this cabin so it drains away better, and that will solve that problem. But each one is now set. They're in the 2 components, so they have already dried. I've got the one in the back corner of the cabin over there which needs to be done, but that's in water. So I need to fix that drainage, otherwise I need to get a 2 component that will dry underwater. The original foundations are still in place, so I can make sure all the measurements and heights match exactly, because I don't want to change the position of the building. I can get in trouble for that. So I've reset these foundations. These are now deep in the rock and nice and strong, so I'm happy with that. And it's worked out well with the heights, so we're actually only going to gain about 5 centimeters in the floor height, but I will reduce the ceiling height because we're going to have an angled ceiling, vaulted ceiling in the bedrooms, so I can afford to lose a little bit on the wall height so I don't change the height of the building, because that's another no-no. But right now it's looking great. Got a bit of tidying up to do before it gets too dark, and I think maybe next week I can actually set all the joists. I might have to carry a lot of stuff up, but I think it's worth it. Ahead of schedule is always good. Well, for now, we'll finish with that lovely sunset and view. The noisy generator doesn't really help. Everything's looking good. Nice and tidy, which is what I like. All the rubbish is ready and stacked. I need to make a little bit of space over here, but nothing too major. So that's week 3 done. Been a really good week. Weather's been great. It means I've got a lot done. All the trash is bagged up. I've got 1 bag I need left, so I'll bring that up with me next week and just fill that up. That's going to take no time at all. And today, beautiful weather, so I managed to get pretty much every foundation done. I've got 5 left to do, but the drill started to play up, which means I got delayed. So next week, I think I'm going to come up here with 1 guy extra, just for the day, to help me carry up all the materials that I need for the floor. And I think realistically, I can get pretty much all the floor joists done next week, which will give us 1 extra place to drop some materials when the helicopter comes, which is perfect. So for now, that's me signing off. I've got to go home and make some money and check the company's running. So until next week, like and subscribe. Bye.